A hospital that might be alive, whispering warnings across time. Could that be real? Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Brianne. I've had like 3 coffees, so I'm vibrating, but, emotionally stable.
I'm riding that spooky high today. I barely slept because I kept thinking about this story. Welcome to the Veil, Unsolved and Unbelievable. Today we're diving into the eerie story of what I call the St. John's Echo, a haunting loop of history where 2 tragedies rhyme in the same building.
Echo, or hear me out, humans making terrible choices on repeat. Sorry, not sorry, but I'm in. I want to hear the case.
Okay, so check this out. St. John's Hospital in Springfield, Illinois. In 1908, during the Springfield race riot, a black man named William Donegan, an ancestor of Sonya Massey, was lynched. He was brought to St. John's and pronounced dead there. Historians point to that riot as a spark for the founding of the NAACP. Fast forward more than a century. In early July 2024, Sonya Lene Wilburn Massey, a black woman, calls 911 because she thinks someone's trying to get into her home near Springfield. Deputies Sean Grayson and Dawson Farley show up. They don't find a prowler outside. They knock for minutes. She lets them in. Moments later, inside her own kitchen, she's dead. And at 1:47 a.m., she is pronounced at St. John's. Same hospital. Same city. Same, psychic bruise on the map. Here's what went down inside. They ask for her ID. She's searching. There's this mundane shuffle of papers and purse zippers. She asks for a Bible. There are dispatcher callbacks. One of them is literally happening while they're in the kitchen. Grayson notices a pot of hot water and asks that it be moved. Sonya picks it up to take it off the stove, says twice, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Grayson responds with a threat, explicit on camera. "I'll you-know-what shoot you right in your face." He draws his gun. Farley draws his too. Sonya immediately apologizes. She says, "Okay, I'm sorry," and ducks behind the counter. Seconds later, Grayson fires 3 shots. One enters beneath her left eye, exits the back of her neck. The carotid arteries hit. The autopsy confirms homicide. She was unarmed.
Here's a crucial detail. His body camera only goes on after the shots. Farley's was rolling from arrival, which is why we even have the full sequence. Then, instead of pushing for immediate aid, Grayson says, "She's done, that's a headshot," and tosses his medical kit at one point like he won't waste it. Farley uses dish towels to try to help, but Sonya dies less than an hour later.
Illinois State Police review comes in fast, within 10 days, saying deadly force was not justified. Grayson is fired in July 2024. A grand jury indicts him that month. He pleads not guilty. Body cam footage is released later that month. The DOJ starts looking. By January 2025, there's a federal agreement with Sangamon County. De-escalation training, including for behavioral health disabilities, biannual complaint reporting, a mobile crisis team. No admission of liability, but oversight and reforms, which, good, but also too late for Sonya.
The trial lands a year later in October 2025 in Peoria County. Farley testifies, critical, that Sonya never did anything that made him think she was a threat. Prosecutors argue Grayson manufactured the danger. The jury convicts him of second-degree murder after more than 11 hours of deliberation. In January 2026, he gets 20 years, the max, plus supervised release after. He later dies in prison in August 2026 from stage 4 colon cancer. That essentially ends the criminal chapter.
The family settles with the county for $10 million in February 2025. They also raise funds online. And Illinois lawmakers push Sonya Massey's bill in 2025 to strengthen background checks so officers can't hop between departments with misconduct trailing behind them. Which matters because Grayson had DUIs in 2015 and 2016, a false arrest in 2021, a reckless 2022 pursuit that supervisors debated firing him over, and yet he still gets hired by Sangamon County. Isn't that bananas? All right, moving on. My theory, the St. John's Echo. I believe the hospital carries a residual imprint, like a looped whisper across generations. Listen to the strange pattern. In early July 2024, there's a 911 call from Sonya's address. A female voice says, "Somebody's trying to hurt me. A lot of them." Then hangs up. Authorities haven't confirmed who placed that call. The dispatcher's callback is redacted. The next day, Sonya is treated at St. John's for cuts from broken glass after reporting a broken window and a brick. Later, a deputy notes possible 1096 mental health concerns. The following day, while the deputies are inside, a dispatcher callback catches Sonya saying, "Hold on," multiple times before the line disconnects. And inside the kitchen, she asks for a Bible and says twice, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Here's what I can't shake. In 1908, Donegan is dragged through racist violence and dies at St. John's. In 2024, his descendant, terrified in her own home, ends up pronounced dead at St. John's at 1:47 a.m. The same corridors, the same linoleum hum. The early July call, a lot of them, sounds like it's reaching backward, like a crowd's threat bleeding into the present. The redacted callback feels like a light going out in a hallway. And the word Sonya reaches for, biblical, protective, rebuking, like she's pushing back at something bigger than two deputies. My gut says the building remembers, and it tries to whisper warnings when history is about to repeat. A residual haunting, not of a ghost with a face, but of a pattern with a pulse.
Wait, and stay with me, it's the blunt weight of history plus a broken system. The 911 call in early July could be Sonya, could be someone else, we don't know. On the day she was treated, EMTs and behavioural health workers actually cleared her. Her mother told 911 that Sonya can get paranoid when upset. By the day of the shooting, there's no intruder. Deputies find nothing outside. The so-called echo is fear and hypervigilance meeting officers with inconsistent training. Then one of those officers has a documented pattern of poor judgment. That's not a ghost, that's cause and effect.
I get the human layer, I do. But the timing and the place. Twice, family members pronounced dead at the same hospital, tied to racial violence in Springfield, and you've got these callbacks captured like little radio beacons. You hear Sonya say, "Hold on." You hear the plea from early July. "Somebody's trying to hurt me. A lot of them." It's like the air around that hospital, and the city, carries a warning nobody knows how to decode until afterward.
Or like we, construct patterns after the fact. The evidence is painfully straightforward. Illinois State Police say the shooting wasn't justified. Farley testifies Sonya never threatened him. The autopsy is precise about the fatal shot. Beneath the left eye, out the back of the neck. No self-harm, no mystery assailant. Body cam plus 911 audio sync the timeline. Then, DOJ requires reforms, de-escalation training, mobile crisis team, complaint reporting. The echo you're hearing is policy failure reverberating until someone fixes the wiring.
But look at all the near misses. A mobile crisis team could have been there. The county only creates it after. Better background checks might have stopped this hire. The bill comes later. Farley's camera is on, but Grayson's isn't until after the gunfire. Transparency kicks in late. It's like every time there's a chance to change course, something stalls, and the echo gets louder. I'm not saying a poltergeist pulled a trigger. I'm saying the place is saturated with a warning we keep ignoring until tragedy forces our hand.
I'll meet you halfway on this. Places hold trauma in people, communities, institutions. The so-called echo is us. It's dispatch protocols. It's training that didn't include enough behavioural health de-escalation. It's a hiring pipeline that let an officer with DUIs, a false arrest, and a reckless chase move departments without a full paper trail. And it's why the family's $10 million settlement and the DOJ agreement matter. They're imperfect, yeah, but they're tangible answers to very human mistakes.
Seriously, though, whatever we call it, echo, pattern, system, the result is the same. A woman calls for help. She dies in her kitchen. Her children tell a court their mum's gone and their souls feel ripped. And the city has to look in the mirror. If a story like this doesn't change policy, it's going to repeat. And that's the part that keeps me up.
Moving right along. The point is, if we want fewer echoes, we scale the reforms. Proper background checks statewide. Real-time body cam compliance. mobile crisis teams that turn up with, or instead of armed officers when 1096 concerns are in play. And clear consequences when someone manufactures danger and then claims self-defense. That's how you quiet the corridor hum.
Greater question for today. Do places carry the weight of what's happened in them? Or do we carry it and project it back onto the bricks? Maybe both. Maybe that's the echo. If you want context, check out the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum's online resources on the 1908 Springfield race riot. It's a solid primer on the history behind all this.
Right, plans for the rest of the day. I'm going to drink water like it's my job and, not have 3 coffees in a row again.
I'm going to try not to obsessively replay 911 audio. Maybe I'll bake something. Sugar therapy. Thank you for hanging with us on a tough one.
Thanks for tuning in. Look after each other.
And remember, never stop questioning.